unsurprisingly, this is a nice, strong cup of English tea. I like my tea with milk and sugar. I'm having a spontaneous chat in the library. I just felt like doing this live stream. I've never done a live stream from my normal client setup down here on the floor, grounding in at the very root level. I don't like doing client sessions from desks. I don't believe that it leads to good spontaneous energetics. But I thought, why not invite you on this special spontaneous Sunday stream to come hang out with me. We're going to talk about shadow work. We're going to celebrate the fact that this is a new year and the prime opportunity to really bring in a little bit more consciousness. Gonna let people fill in on the live chat and then start chatting. I see Sapora in the chat. This is different. I like it. Milk and tea. I've had that before. Fantastic. I can see suddenly it went from 1 person viewing to 18 people viewing. On my side, I saw that no one was here, and now I see that you're all here. So welcome. Welcome to the library. We are down, finally, doing a library stream. Initially, transparently, it snowed last night. At about 1 a.m. it started snowing and it was beautiful and it was magical, and I was filled with a sense of enthusiasm and childlike awe because I didn't have a YouTube video ready for today at the usual time. You might notice that this is about the time where I normally put out a usual YouTube video. And I thought, you know what? It's snowing. Wouldn't everyone appreciate going for a snowy walk through the forest instead? Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't it be magical to have a snowy stream? I wear my white coat and would be all purified, and the rain had different ideas. About 5 or 6 hours ago, while I was in the middle of a session, I heard the rain coming down and the snow has melted into a puddle of slush. We just haven't got it anymore. So I thought the next best thing is bring you down onto the library floor and we will talk about shadow work together. I have never done a stream from the library because my initial assumption is that this feels very similar to a regular YouTube video. I like going for a walk. I spend enough time here. I mean, transparently right now, I'm sat down on the floor. This is my usual client setup. I don't normally have a dramatic black candle in front of every client session. It's a bit too intense, but for the sake of a special stream, why not? I've got my desk with a bit of choice reading. You might recognize this book. I've got my cup of tea and I've got my phone to remind me when it is time to end this stream because we've got our first live community call for the Shadow Work Library in 54 minutes from now. I see people coming in on the chat. I've got 54 minutes until the first live community Shadow Work Library stream. You saw me announce this on Friday. There's like 26, 27 people already in the community. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I'm kind of enthusiastic. I see Clem in the chat. Hey Jordan, love the warm setting. Clem, good to see you here. Make 1984 fiction again. Isn't this a lovely surprise? Daya said, you look like a man who's very calm and present in life. I might look that way, but actually beneath the surface, I am crumbling and crippled. I'm deeply anxious. It's just all a persona game. All a persona. I'm deeply anxious, very insecure, struggle with speech. See? No, the reality is I'm very grateful that I experienced the hard-earned rewards of authentic shadow work. At this stage in my journey, I generally experience quite a serene, peaceful inner world, but I remember what it was like when I was run by my shadow behaviors. If you've checked the YouTube community page just now, in the last few minutes, I put up a long, detailed post about the shadow behaviors, shadow entities, and shadow territories model, which is what I teach behind the scenes for all of my students and clients when it comes to breaking down the unconscious mind into an objectifiable, quantifiable, compartmentalizable concept. Your unconscious mind isn't just one thing. I see in the chat, where does one start with shadow work? Great question. It's almost like it's the week where we launch the Shadow Work Library live community and we've got a group call in about 52 minutes time. But until then, I've got a bit of time to talk about shadow work in a public sense, and I recommend you pick up this book. This isn't the first time that you're seeing me hold up this book, and it's not going to be the last time you see me hold up this book. For disclaimers, I've never made a penny off this. I haven't got a secret deal with Connie Zweig and Jeremiah Abrams from a book in the 1990s. I don't make money on this. I don't make money on any of the books that I recommend. I recommend them because I'm a historian at heart, and I believe that the greatest... I'm not going to be rude. Maybe I should be rude. Should I be rude? I'm not going to be rude. One of the greatest shortcomings of the psychological and spiritual community on YouTube in particular is that everyone's fucking lying. They're pretending that they came up with the idea. They're hiding their source material. They're exaggerating how much they've learned through their special talent or their intuitive gift, when the reality is everything has been said before. We're in the library. There's hundreds of books in this library. I keep it to around 500, usually between 450 to 500 books. Every now and again, I'll do a purge. I'll take out 40 to 50 books are no longer relevant. And the reason I've built this inner work library as an inner work library, shadow work being within inner work, is that I believe it's inauthentic, disingenuous, and manipulative, even in an unintentional way, to be an online public figure and hiding the sources where you got the information from. From my very first videos on this channel 3 years ago, I started a 52-part series where I recommended 52 books as my inner work essentials. Why did I do that? Why did I put dozens of hours per week into making free videos that were getting 100 views at best? It's because these books, like Meeting the Shadow essay collection and like Jung's Map of the Soul by Murray Stein, we're going to be talking about this one next week. I'm promoting 6 hyper-specific shadow work books down in the link in the description. You'll be able to get this one and this one, 2 of these, 6 of the all-time favorites from the shadow work library. I cannot help but promote the teachers who are better than me. I mean, look at this face. Look at this. That's Murray Stein. You could listen to me with my silly haircut and my strange British accent, or you can listen to Murray Stein, the real OG, the shadow work gangster. Look at him. I feel like my shadows are already integrating with Murray's smiling presence. You can't not read a book like Jung's Map of the Soul. You can't not read Meeting the Shadow. And for me, truly, as a teacher, at the heart of my teaching, there has to be an authentic line back to the masters who I learned from. The entire effort of this library, 5 fucking years of reading every day, on average 4 to 6 hours per day, thousands of hours. I think it's over 13,000 hours in terms of reading and rereading, 700 psychology books, 164 of them reread. Within those 164 reread, 888,000 words manually typed up on my laptop. Sat over here, at my desk. Why? Firstly, I'm completely insane. Secondly, there's only really one reason. I'm completely insane. That's the honest reality. I enjoy research, and I feel like it's my responsibility as someone who's particularly good at researching and someone who's particularly capable of being able to read a book, see a book like this, make a highlight. I mean, this book is someone saying about the innate tendency towards introversion. I can read a quote like, for example, from Jung's Map of the Soul, "A person is born with an innate tendency to assume an introverted attitude toward the world. This first manifests itself as a shyness in the infant, and later it develops into a preference to pursue solitary interests such as reading and studying." We are being hit with the synchronicities today. I did not prepare this ahead of time, but let's see where God is guiding us. If this is combined with an innate tendency toward adapting to the environment by using the function of thinking, the person will be naturally inclined to adapt to the world by seeking out activities such as science or scholarship, which match these tendencies. I don't think we need to read this book anymore. I think we should leave that one for another day. I think that's a bit too much shadow confrontation for one live stream. I'm going to go back and change up the 6 free books marketing promotion down in the description. Remove this one because Murray has just called me out on my innate tendency towards introversion and scholarship. I'm playing around. It's a fun moment. I didn't prepare that. But what I can do is I like reading and I like studying. And I get a lot out of my conversation with books. For me, shadow work, at least in terms of the first stages of literary preparation, the theoretical understanding of shadow material, the shadow entities, the shadow territories, and the shadow behaviors, everything that I teach in the shadow work library curriculum, it took 4 years for this to really click together for me. The essence of it, for me, personally, is encountering the material in these books, in Jung's Map of the Soul, in Meeting the Shadow, not as information to be learned, to be stored in memory, but as a conversation. I'm having a conversation with these authors in the same way that you'd have a conversation with your best friend. You naturally want to talk to them You love learning about what they've been doing. It's easy to be in conversation with them for 3 or 4 hours. What if books feel the same way? I see Spore in the chat. Wow, amazing. That was something very special to witness when I was reading that book. I suppose I've been having a lot of those too. I assume synchronicities. I just explored tarot reading and wow, I know we give it a meaning, but that hit hard. I see Winner in the chat. Shadow integration is a huge goal for 2025. Social trauma has bound me into a state of mutism. Life has felt quite lonely. And half said, sorry to hear that. It's definitely the year where you can change this. For me personally, the conversational aspect is what's important when you're trying to really get your reading to where you want it to be. You don't need to build an inner work library. You don't need to read 700 fucking psychology books. It's purely insane. The reason I do it is that I tried to launch a YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, when I'd read about 150 books. I released my very first video. It's still over on my channel. You can see it. It's me. Library shelves are looking bare. I hadn't gone all the way deep into understanding how to communicate externally to a camera. I'm a very different version of myself. I think that was only 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I did a video on active imagination. You may have seen this one. Let me know in the chat if you've seen the old OG active imagination Jordan Thornton video where I'm doing this in the thumbnail. I'm doing that. Got my beanie on. It's the GoPro taped to the wall. I had a GoPro 5 taped to the wall, no microphone, crappy color grading. There's barely any books in the bookshelf. I'd only read 150 of them, and I thought I was ready. I thought I was ready after 150 books to film that active imagination because I'd healed most of my own shadow issues, most of them. I was already sober. I'd already figured out a variety of challenges related to my family story. But, huge but, I hadn't figured out how to communicate my inner reality to the outer world. I'm live streaming right now. This is happening in real time. I'm seeing people in the chat, seeing you in particular, and we're kind of building a conversation backwards and forwards. This takes years. It started with that video. And that video was my first experiment in trying to become a teacher, communicating, articulating all of this information in a way that's digestible and it could be something that you could use. And it was all right. It did well. YouTube picked it up years later and it got over 100,000 views, and I keep it up on the channel because it's an ode to where I started from. You get to see in real time that this library has been built over the years in the last 4 years, the last 3 years of being full-time on YouTube. Look at that old video, go to my channel, open a new tab, do something on your laptop. That old video, you can click on it, look at the background, look at my energy. I still hadn't finished my bioenergetic issues. One thing you'll notice that you don't see much very more is that in that video, I used to do this. I used to be tilted. Why? Why did I speak like this? Why wasn't I upright? Why wasn't I vertical? Why was I doing certain things with my eyes? Why would I be able to say and then suddenly it mutes and it blanks inside of me? There's a somatic shadow, and I hadn't fully figured out my somatic shadow in the context of social relationships and social conversations. And for me, the conversation with camera or with my phone and with you by extension has that element of your body's always present, your mind's always present, your words are always present. And if you're like this, or you're jittery, or you're picking, that's your somatic unconscious. You could call it your somatic shadow. I hadn't fully figured that out. It took me another 100, 200 books until I felt confident to then really take YouTube seriously. 350 books is when I launched the Inner Work Essentials series. That was 3 years ago, January 3 years ago, almost to the day, maybe 2 weeks from now. I launched the Inner Work Essentials series, 52 of the best books that I'd learned from those 350 books. And I thought, you know what, that's enough. That's enough. No one needs more than 52 books. The idea is 1 book per week. Do you need more than 1 book per week? Probably not. But I fell in love with the process. And I fell in love with the process, as I was saying a few minutes ago, because I fall in love with the authors as if they were my best friends. And I talk with them. And they talk back to me. Just a moment ago, I picked out a random page. Oh, I'm going to do it again. It won't happen twice. Will it happen twice? We've got a highlight. That's a game I like to play. If a highlight appears, is it relevant? We'll check that in a moment. They talk back to me. I had conversations with these books. I got 350 conversations deep, and I thought I was ready to start having conversations on YouTube, and I did. Did the Inner Work Essential series, got a couple hundred views on those videos, and eventually after 4 months, 1,000 subscribers on the channel. 1,000 people being interested in the psychology. It was amazing for me. I genuinely felt fulfilled at 1,000. I responded to all the comments. I made it my intention from the very beginning, respond to every single comment, no matter what. Even the bad ones, even the negative ones. I tried to do that. I see Alex in the chat, conversation with the greatest minds and healers. Exactly, conversations with the greatest minds and healers. Maybe someone like Alexander Lowen. Betrayal of the Body, one of the greatest somatic healers we've ever known. Truly, classic work, 50s, 60s, 70s. OG somatic unconscious. If you like Peter Levine, if you like Gabor Mate, if you like Bessel van der Kolk, Body Keeps a Score, go back to the true masters. And then go back even further to Wilhelm Reich. Go back even further to the work that was happening in the 1870s. We don't even know about that. What do you think was happening in 1870s somatic therapy? It's not just electrical chairs and being strapped down in mental asylums. There was so much original thinking which has been buried. Some of it was happening during the wars, but the conversations are out there. When I got 350 books deep, I started doing YouTube. And in the background over these last 3 years, I've kept reading. And I suppose if I'm at 700 and something psychology books, I track it over there. I don't know the exact amount, 720-ish. I just read. I read and read and read. I'm reading about 3 to 5 books per week at this stage. And the reason I read that much is because I love the conversation. And if I didn't love the conversation, would I love having the conversation with you? I don't think I would. And I'm glad that I do love the conversation. I see Melinda in the chat. It's so cool to know that people were realizing all these principles so long ago. It is. It is. There's a fantastic book that I can recommend to you. And this is something that we get to do because we're streaming in the library. I get to go directly over to the bookshelf, the massive bookshelf on my side here, and bring out one of the fat books that I wouldn't get to take on a walk with me. Ready for this? 5 seconds. This book is the book that I want you to read. It is so big, it's not even coming out the shelf. It is one of the fattest, thickest, most intimidating books in my entire library. I'm going to give it to you today. Ready? I'm going to show you how fat this book is. Guess the number of pages. We're going to make a community moment. Enough of me being serious and talking about the integrity of teachers online. Let's have a bit of fucking fun. How many pages is one of the fattest psychology books in my library? I'm going to show you. Okay? Guess. 5 billion pages, I see. 1871, 69 from Stoic Prince. I think it might be 69 pages, 1,000 pages. Come on, specific, not just 1,000. Exactly how many pages? Come on, use your intuition. You'll get a prize. You'll get a prize if you get the right number. 932, 1,200, 25,000, 3,467, 1,349, 1,309, 3. What? Wow. This is the most engagement we've ever had in the chat. You guys really enjoy guessing page counts. We have a very particular kind of weirdness. People are going for it. People are going for it. Okay, you got 5 more seconds. Put in your Yep, okay. Some good guesses. 5 more seconds and then we're going to stop. I want you to stop. We need to slow down the chat, have a moment of silence as I do the page reveal and the book reveal. Okay, 3. Stop now. 2. Final guess. Final guess. Stop. No more. Any more after this and we're not continuing. Up. Any more, we're not going to do it. You're going to ruin it for everyone. I'm assuming there's a bit of lag and people aren't being unintentionally spammy because we're not going to go ahead now. We've just ruined it. I guess we'll never know what the best book is in my library. I guess we'll never find out. It's actually this one. Discovery of the Unconscious by Henry Ellenberger. This book charts all of the history of psychology straight back through the 1870s into hypnotism and mesmerism and the medieval origins of the esoteric foundation that lead into modern psychology, the discovery of the unconscious. But the question is, how many pages is the discovery of the unconscious? Go back in history, read this book. It's pretty expensive, it's pretty fat, it's well worth it. No more guesses. Are we counting the endnotes or do we stop the page number on the final page of actual writing? That's a question. We've got 2 choices. Clem Fitz says, I'm reading it currently and I knew you were going for that book. Clem, that's why you're a shadow work OG. That is why you are top dog in the shadow work library. Do we count it from the last page being the page number? Last page number, or the end of the bibliography and all of the index? Final page of writing, okay, we've got more for writing, final page of actual writing. You've got the right taste. That's how I do it as well. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what it isn't. Okay, if you guessed, here we go. Final page, I've got it. You get to define your self-worth by this moment. If you got it wrong, let your inner critic go wild. Let your shadow entities take control of your psyche. Allow yourself to feel shameful, disgraceful, pitiful, and an embarrassment to your entire family lineage. That's how serious this is. Shame on you if you got it wrong, exactly. If you didn't get this right, there's no hope for you. I mean, I was going to invite you to join the Shadow Work Library because we do have a community call starting in 35 minutes. We have the first community call in the Shadow Work Library. I was going to invite everyone here to go join me over there. Link in the description, you've got time to sign up. You've got the discount code, £75 off. There's still time to get involved. But if you got it wrong, you're not allowed in. If you guessed over 1,300 pages, unfortunately, you're banished to the Shadow Realms. If you guessed under 700 pages, you're also banished to the Shadow Realms. How many pages in the Discovery of the Unconscious? Somewhere between 700 and 1,300. If you guessed over 1,000 pages, you're also wrong. Under 800, you're also wrong. The correct number of pages. If you got this right, I'm amazed. Let me know, don't fake it. If you got it right, 897. 897 pages, and a very heavy highlighting right at the end. You can probably read this in a good weekend, is what I suggest. If you take your shadow work seriously, probably, just some casual reading on Saturday and Sunday morning. And you know what's funny? This is a meta moment. There's 96 people watching this live. I've had the most engagement that I've ever had in the live stream chat, and I'm being fucking silly. Isn't it funny? And now people are dropping off. Just pay attention. People are leaving now. I go on these walks and I try and talk about serious topics, and I teach, and I really try and teach, but actually the platform itself, this moment where you're watching me on your device, it's suited towards entertainment and novelty. Memes do win, exactly. Memes are more important than deep shadow teaching, but I do really want you to actually pick up a book like Meeting the Shadow and read it for yourself. The reason I'm here, the reason I'm in this library today, and I think I'll do a few more live stream in the libraries if you've been enjoying this and we get to have a bit of fun bringing books out from the shelves and kind of keeping it, grounded literally on the floor, bringing you in for a bit of silliness. I'll do some more of these. Let me know in the chat. Shall I do more library live streams? Shall I do another one this time next week rather than doing the regular YouTube video? And what if I do another live stream? Yeah, I see support in the chat, I noticed it. Exactly, isn't it interesting? I see make 1984 fiction again. Well, yeah, you did just banish them to the Shadow Realms. It is true. I did cast some spells of curses and condemnation, so anyone who did go over 1,300, they're gone. They're actually banned from the channel. I've got a employee hanging out over there, just there, in the hidden door behind the library, and they're monitoring everything. And they're banning anyone who got it wrong. They're going back. I'm sorry, they're not here anymore. Jokes aside. It's fun to play around on YouTube. I enjoy being here, but the honest reality is I am exceptionally serious and far too intense about this whole process. I was talking earlier about how I started the YouTube channel when I'd read 150 books and I thought that was enough. Wasn't enough. Did another 200 books. 350, that was enough to get to the first 52. It's in 3 more years, I've doubled that number. I'm at 700 psychology books, and quite frankly, I think I'm pretty much done with reading now. Pretty much done. I've started to expand into anthropology, go back on history, some philosophical and some sociological, but psychology is a particular niche. I understand this backwards and forwards. Roya, is the group call recorded to watch later? It is not. It is not, I'm afraid. I know you're inside the Shadow Work Library, but it's very intentional why I am not recording these group calls. The group call starts in 31 minutes. In 31 minutes in the new live shadow work community, we're having 30 calls this year, every single weekend, January and February. If you like this fun, imagine the fun we could have if we're actually talking and not just a comment in the comment section. You and me having a real conversation. Of course, fun is something we should focus on, but today's call is actually going to be quite serious. The structure for today's call will be pre-submitted questions, spontaneous conversation, and I've been seeing the introductions in the Shadow Work Library community, and these men and women are fantastic. I love my students. Between mid-20s to mid-50s, all around the world, people are leaving their introductions in the introduction space on the Circle community. This has only been live for 2 days. We've got almost 30 members already in there, ready for the call. And people are talking about their darkness, they're talking about their addictions. Oh. That's my reminder to myself to not get carried away here. Got 10 minutes left, and then I'm gonna have to set up for the Shadow Work Library call. It's happening in real time. Just gonna switch on over to the private group community. But we've got 10 minutes to talk about this. What's happening inside the live community is that the community finally has an opportunity to really connect. If you're anything like me, you spend a lot of time on your own. A lot of time reading, a lot of time focusing on the areas of the shadow territories that, do honestly need some work, and truthfully, you don't necessarily discover them in conversation with other people. You discover them in conversation with yourself, and conversation with the books. For the last year of the Shadow Work Library being live, I launched at the very end of 2023. Dozens of students in 2024, and I've been having these one-to-one conversations on Instagram and sometimes on Telegram with students on a one-by-one basis. But finally, I'm getting to see everybody talking to each other, and my heart is warm. Imagine how that feels. Imagine you're a teacher who's been doing these like one-on-one student conversations. You understand people's insides, right? Roya, good to see you. Have a great first call. I messaged you on Instagram. Maybe I'll see you in the next call. I'll come back to why I don't record the calls in just a moment, actually. If you'll stay around for 60 more seconds, this is why I don't record the calls in the Shadow Work Library. I value confidentiality, privacy, and the ability to make a choice when you're sharing difficult material. The reason I had the course as a self-paced curriculum for the entirety of 2024 is that I believe people get distracted when they start performatively sharing their trauma, and they get a fake feeling of I've healed something just because I got it off my chest. It works in certain very professional group therapy environments, but often what happens in YouTube comments, for example, people share something, people get comments back, feeling, guess what, nothing fucking changed. So I wanted to avoid that. And I did a year of experimenting with, let's not have the call space just yet. I don't think I'm quite ready to be able to structure this in a way that will pierce through the persona games and give people genuine transformative experiences. You probably know what I mean. These rah-rah feelings, right? Rah-rah feelings of sharing trauma. Really good to see you in the chat. I'll see you next time. What we're now going to do in the community is we're not recording the calls. You're either there or you're not. And that's with the best of intentions, the highest energetic intentions. I don't want this private community to be like every other private community that's out there. And what people recommend to me, business coaches, people I've hired, friends who do other types of coaching, I love them. They're fantastic. They have different ways of doing things. For me personally, I don't think it's energetically appropriate to be showing up on a call. In about 26 minutes, I'm going to be on a call. There's going to be a dozen or more people. And I want to share something bad that happened to me. I want to talk about an abuse that I went through for about 10 minutes and see what people are saying. I want to know that I can look around that call at every single face. I can see the names. Everyone's got their camera on. And I know that there's not going to be someone who the day later, while eating lunch, clicks randomly, and my trauma is passive watching because you're watching back the live call. I think it's fucking wrong. I think it's wrong. I know it makes it logistically difficult because I've got international students. I've tried to pick the best time slot I possibly can. 25 minutes from now, 7 o'clock to 8:30 every single Sunday. I'd love to see you there. It's not too late to get in on today's call. You can click the link in the description. You get the discount code. You can join me right now for today's call. Just 20 minutes time. You can get in the community. It's super easy. You'll get all the emails. You can join straight away. Or next week on Friday, or the week after that on Sunday. I'll be there for you. But I want us to be having a real conversation in real time, and that's the gated boundary. I think the real psychological boundary is knowing that you can look around the room and everyone who's there is a real person in real time, and that's healing in itself. So there's no recorded calls inside my community for the entirety of 2025. You're either there for the time or you're not there for the time. If things expand over the year, I may add in more calls. I may add in a European time zone and an American time zone. I usually work late. I often finish my client calls at 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. Yesterday I was on 7 hours of calls. I don't talk about this too much on social media because I'm busy working, I'm busy helping, I'm busy supporting. I don't market myself, in an extremely loud way. I think the boundaries are important. I see Peaceful Warrior in the chat. Boundaries are important. And a group boundary is defined and maintained by the consciousness of the teacher or the leader of the group. And I have my strong opinions about what group spaces should be for therapeutic work in particular and shadow work by extension. I want you to be able to share your darkness in a safer space. I want you to be able to share your dreams, which are equally sensitive, your golden shadow aspirations for your highest possibility in a space which feels safe. And that is what I'm going to do my absolute best to cultivate throughout the entirety of this year. This is a very special year for me. Only in 2025 am I going to be this accessible to a broad group of people where essentially the only barrier to entry is you understanding and caring about the kind of conversation I'm having right now, clicking at this level of consciousness, being on the same kind of level, the same bandwidth, connecting with other community members who likewise on the same bandwidth, and showing up for those conversations consistently and with integrity entirety of 2025. That's what we're doing. Every other week. Conversations every single week in terms of the forum, and we're all reading the 36 books inside the Shadow Work Library curriculum. If you haven't seen my new website, the School of Self-Integration, that's a whole nother thing, that's for 2026. Go onto that just now, tap the link in the description. I'm going to send you this book and some highlights and notes and quotes and encourage you to read that. And as you'll be seeing me talk about next week, you're going to get this one as well. Not just these two, 4 more. It's a free study guide. Whether you choose to join me in the Shadow Work Library community or not, whether you're just watching, again, on your lunch break, you're watching the replay on your lunch break to this live meta moment. In real time, people who are here, it's not us, but there are hundreds of people who are watching me on their lunch break. Oh yeah. Isn't it funny? The meta moments. It's okay because we're doing a live stream, but this is a bit of fun. This is something public. I don't think it should be the same energy. I see Alex in the chat. Hey Jordan, just meal prepping for the week ahead and this came up. Hope you've had a nice Sunday, mate. Exactly. Exactly. Think about the quality of the space that you occupy. Think about the quality of the consciousness. And if you're a teacher or a leader or someone who's facilitating a group, that group is defined by you. One final book recommendation spontaneously. I think about this. It's not over here. It's over there with Archangel Michael. I'm going to get this for you. This is my parting gift to you. I recommended it on the channel before. It's over here in the outer world shelf, right over there. That is my business books, teaching books, university curriculum manuals, and also my like general books about writing, books about teaching and leadership. All of that's over there. We've got, I don't know, about 70 or 80 books. That's the outer world. Everything else is inner world. I'm very thematic. But Archangel Michael was conquering the lower entities and the lower demonic forces within us, the laziness, the shadows, the salt, the grit. He's over there, holding it down, and he's doing it in the outer world shelf. I'm going to get you one book from the outer world shelf, and it's very much the philosophy that I ascribe to inside of the Shadow Work Library community. Links in the description. You're welcome to join me. The call's starting in 15 minutes. This is what we're going to do. A Living Classroom by Christopher Bach. I think you got that. Living Classroom by Christopher Bach. We can still be silly even when we're being serious. One of the best books on how to be a good teacher from a spiritual and energetic perspective. Clem knew it. Clem already knows. Clem's in the Shadow Work Library. He's going to be taking over these calls anytime soon. He's going to be doing it. He knows all the books. I'm basically redundant. You know what, Clem? I'm not going to show up to this call. I'm going to give you admin privileges. We're starting in 22 minutes. You can just host the call. I think you probably know the curriculum inside and out, and yeah, great contributions. Playing around. Isn't it wonderful? Clem's been involved. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, please. I'm pretty sure because you have the testimonials, you'd be happy for me to share that you've been inside the library for all of last year. And these books I'm recommending all over the place, and they leave an impression. Yeah, see, Clem in the chat, finally taking over, guys. I've been usurped. I've been taken over. This is what happens. Teachers empower their students, and eventually, et tu, Bruce, et tu, Clem, you too, stabbed like Caesar by my own closest compatriots. It might happen to me in 2025. I'm running the risk. I'm running the risk that you can join me in the Shadowwork Library live community. Calls every single week in January and February. If you want to put a knife in my back after I give you these 36 books and you want to go on your way, steal my audience, steal all of my hard work, take every single book that I have read, do something magical on the internet, turn it into your thing, go for it. Doesn't fucking matter. It's not about me. Final reminder, that's my emergency reminder. I've got 20 minutes until this call, which means that I've got 3 minutes to wrap up this live stream. Then I'm getting ready. If you want to stab me in the back, link in the description. If you want to stab yourself in the front, don't click the link in the description. You'll probably already be doing that throughout the year because you're not going to heal your shadows. Being a bit cheeky. But come on, let's all stab each other together. Either in the back, in the front, and maybe if we stab at just the right angle, we'll open something up and go, oh, wait a minute. Why has that been in there for the last 30 years of my life? And that's the sludge right here, and that sludgy, shadowy behavior. It's sticky. Sometimes you have to penetrate a bit deeper to find what was hidden inside. That's what I'm going to try and do in all of these calls throughout the year and starting right now. It's not too late to join. Super easy. Takes 2 minutes to be inside on that call. If you're not ready just yet, take your time. I'll be here next Friday, 7 o'clock UK time. Next Sunday, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, every single week. Thank you for being here. Link in the description, schoolofselfintegration.com, selfintegrationschool.com. I'll see you there. Remember, once you've penetrated and torn open your heart, make sure you take the time to put it back together and be gentle with it as well. You deserve that part too. We also do that part. But candle is burning. I'll keep a light on for you. See you inside, and I'll see you next week.